Hey, I'm back from vacation. Thank you to Taka for filling in for me last week. We got a lot to celebrate tonight. It's a pretty long list. We're gonna also talk about the Chicago Street Race, which I believe has been named the Grant Park 212. Okay,
212, 220, something.
212, 220.
Doesn't matter.
Not a sponsor. It's just the location of where it is. So, surprised nobody would sponsor that, but we'll get into that later. This is FR Racing's Garage Talk. I'm DJ Flork.
I'm Erik Richardson.
So we've got a big laundry list of things we're celebrating here.
It is big.
First is we broke 1,000 followers on Instagram.
Thank you all.
Thank you. We hit our goal just in time, a few days early. So we got our 1,000 followers on Instagram. Our TikTok is taking off, which our demographic is a little too old for TikTok. But hey, you know what? Kids love it. You won the race last night in we were just talking about it. This is Friday.
That was a wild race. We'll have to talk about that one.
We'll talk about that. So I stepped in and raced in the behind closed doors series for the first time all season. Why not step in race 10 cold? Haven't competed in a IR 18 in 6 months. What could go wrong? But very little did. And you won the race. You clinched the championship by 0.015 seconds.
Yeah, if it had gone the other way, I'm second in the championship.
You're second in the championship. I was third, and I was 63 thousandths of a second behind you. I dove to the apron to try to make a move. There's just no room. We'll get into that in a bit. So let's see. Recap: 1,000 Instagram, TikTok, BCD champion, BCD race winner. I podium in my first race of the season in there. We have hit 2 years as an official organization of FR Racing LLC.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't this also episode 50?
This is episode 50. Yes. There's 7 things we are all celebrating that have all fallen onto this day. And what better way to celebrate than our trusty, good old friend, Jeppson's Malört.
Gotcha.
So, and of course, we both have our mini Indy 500 milk jug shot glasses.
We're indie guys. What do you expect?
Yeah, I'm going to pour it all over my head.
Nah, I'm not wasting this stuff. It's too good.
Yeah, and too expensive. All right, so
how much are you feeling?
Not a lot. It's a weeknight, and I just filled to just below the line under Indy 500. That's a decent amount. So
all right, well, about even. I'm halfway.
Yeah, we're right around the same here. So we got that, and then I've got my chaser of old style. You've got your chaser.
I unfortunately don't have that, but I have 4 Spirits bourbon whiskey out of Corvallis.
You're gonna go right to the the Malört to the bourbon.
And if I die, I have my water in my trusty rug.
And I got the water. The last time I think we actually drank Malört on the air, I ended up just drinking it straight from the bottle, the episode. And
we had a few rounds of Malört.
We had a few rounds of Malört, and I allegedly may or may not, in my opinion, may have vomited at one point the next morning. But
that was fine.
I'm not sure if I even told you that. But
that's a first.
Here. I was actually, I don't think I told you this. So the next morning, I'm just drinking coffee, and I had some I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to upset the people, but I had a drink, put some additive into my water to try to rehydrate myself and replace those lost electrolytes. And after I drank some of that, I was on a phone call with somebody. And I'm just and for my day job, I'm on the phone. I muted the call, grabbed my trash can by me, threw up in the trash can, and then went back to the call.
It's like second tier puke and rally. I like it.
Just person I was on the phone with had no idea. They will never have an idea because I'm not going to tell them. And to be honest with you, I'm not even sure who I was on the phone with anyway at that point.
Till by chance they listen to this episode and be like, wait, I remember something like that. I got muted.
But anyway, wait, we got to do the pose for the promo photo here. So got the.
Oh, those.
Yeah.
I was going for the. You froze there a little bit.
I gotta get the.
I look like an alcoholic right now.
And we're posing for the promo photo here. This is great audio if you're listening on the podcast right now. All right, we got it. So let me crack.
I'm probably gonna get fired from my job for that one. Promoting alcohol.
You're not giving it to kids, so
don't drink if you're under 21.
Yes, it's over 21.
And don't drink and drive.
I mean, yes, do not do that. Absolutely do not do that. I mean, I never drank before I turned 21. There's no proof.
No, at some point we still need to do that drinking and driving campaign.
We do. Yeah.
Showing how much it impairs you.
Yes.
Even after just one drink.
And on a side note, there is an iRacing league out there where you have to have you have to have a webcam on in a Zoom conference, and during your pit stop you have to do a shot, or it's either chug a beer or do a shot, and you have to finish on camera. And there's a race steward whose literal job is to watch and make sure that people actually finish their beers before they back out on the track.
That sounds awesome.
But anyway, it's a simulation. It's a game, not real. A lot of fun. So cheers to all those milestones all hitting on the same week. All right.
Yeah, wild it does.
Crazy.
All right, here goes.
1, 2, 3. Chicago Handshake. Oh.
Yeah, right there.
No, I'm not. Oh. I don't know if the mic picked up that burp there, but
oof. I think I just destroyed the whole thing about Malört. Just take it and sit there like nothing.
Oh, I haven't done that in a while. It was so.
Yeah, it's been a while for me too.
Let's before we get into this and forget to do this. We have the Ricky Stenhouse Jr. signed diecast to give away. And I have to cover up. There's some personal information on here. So I'm going to run this, and then I'm going to put a copy of the screenshot with the personal information blurred out of it. For transparency's sake, that I'm not out here just randomly picking somebody. So the winner of the Ricky Stenhouse Jr. signed
drum roll
and is Ty Ginter. Ty Ginter.
Congrats, Ty.
All right, congratulations. So I'm going to put right now you're seeing the screenshot of the random drawing winner with his personal information blurred out. Ty will get in touch with you. Once we get in touch, you got 48 hours to get a hold of us with your address so I can get this thing off my desk and you can enjoy it. So congratulations, Ty. And hopefully you respond to us. So awesome.
Enjoy.
Malört.
Still got the aftertaste.
Yeah. You know, it's just like as much as you drink that stuff, you never fully get used to it. There was actually
the best tasting one I've had.
Yeah, when you're celebrating, everything tastes good. There was a guy who he runs this video called like Change My Mind Cocktails or something like that. And basically these two bartenders are given a ingredient or a liquor, and you have to make a cocktail. And it's something that's bad. It's something that's bad or that on its own tastes awful. And you have to get the guy to like it. And he did an episode where he's like, can you get me to like this cocktail with Malört? And the two guys ended up making, I don't remember what was in them, but both the guy said both of these drinks are really good. He goes, one, I barely taste the Malört in this one. And the other one, he goes, you can taste just enough of the Malört that you got the haha Malört, but it still was like, actually, he's like, I would drink this. I would buy this at a bar and drink this, which good for him.
Yeah, you don't want to see my cabinet. I could have some fun concoctions.
We're talking to somebody the other day about absinthe. You
I have that.
have you really? You've had absinthe?
Yep. I have some in my cabinet right now.
I bought a bottle many years ago, like right after it was illegal for like 100 years, and then it wasn't.
I was
And
disappointed. I didn't see the green fairy.
I
I
didn't
want my
either.
money back.
It's the stuff I bought was called like Absinthe Original, and it came from the Czech Republic. And I like it came from it was wrapped in like the Prague Times.
That's
like,
awesome.
like they literally just stuffed a bunch of newspaper in it and just wrapped this and shipped this thing from Prague. Uh, and it smelled like black licorice. Did not see the fairy.
I feel
And
like there's more aftertaste in absinthe than
yeah,
Malört.
I think so. I mean, if you get the true stuff, yes. Like there's a lot of imitation phony absinthe, but
Real stuff.
I think this was the real stuff, or as close to the real stuff as you can find.
It was fun. I did it right too. Sugar cube, lit it on fire. It was
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah, that was you got to do it the right way, and I did it like twice, and I kept the bottle for like 10 years, and then the green like faded, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get rid of it. Spent like $130 on
Oh man.
such I still say that was like of all the dumb things I did in college, that's easily in my top 5. Broke college kid buys $130 bottle of absinthe. Yeah.
Hey, you only live once, right?
I mean, almost failing out of school, hands down, number one. That was hands down the dumbest thing. But buying a bottle of $130 absinthe from the Czech Republic, top 5, easily. Anyway, so one other thing. Last Thursday, do you remember what we were doing 20 years ago last Thursday?
20 years ago last Thursday. That would have been
June 22nd, 2003. 20 years ago. That was 20 years ago.
Jeez. Well, graduation was June 6th.
Yes. Give you a hint. Deer Creek. Although it was not called that at that point.
That would have been Project Revolution.
Nope. Try again.
No.
Close, but no, that was a little later, but try again.
No, that's Pearl Jam.
It was Pearl Jam. Yep. Pearl Jam and opening act, the Buzzcocks, who were
That was a Sunday night because Eddie Vedder was making fun of the people leaving to go to work in accounting.
Yeah, that's right. And I have Apple Music, and you can like
I have that album.
I have the album, but I have it in Apple Music, so it's all remastered and everything. And you can go and listen to Yellow Ledbetter of him making fun of people in accounting. And then there's the encore where he's talking about Bob Knight throwing chairs, and it was a good time. And
that was a great show.
The Buzzcocks were so loud, my ears were ringing after their set. And they were so good though. Man, I like, it's like I had heard of them. I didn't know much about them, but I went home and I'm just like, oh yeah.
They were English, weren't they?
Yeah. I don't know if they're still performing or not, but I mean, they have so many. Actually, I've heard some of their songs used in movies and TV. I'm like, that's a Buzzcocks song. I mean, they've made the rounds.
Fairly well known.
Yeah, so that was
obscure,
it was an awesome
but
show.
well known.
Yes, it was obscure. But I enjoyed it. I had a great time with that show.
Yeah, Pearl Jam's great. I'd be real thrilled to go see them again.
I was just thinking, like the concerts that we went to. Yeah, you mentioned Project Revolution. Where do you remember in Project Revolution when Korn came on stage, and like the mosh pit, that kind of mosh pit formed, and there was this guy, this very very large man, who was just trying to plow people over, and me and you
were on the edge of it the entire time.
Yeah, and me and you went and like shoved back at the
We started like halfway up the lawn, and then by the end of Korn's set, we're at the front of the lawn.
We're like, how do we get up here?
We were on the edge of the mosh pit the entire time.
We had to go find the rest of the group we were with. And
yeah, there were what, like 4, 5, 6 of us?
5 or 6 of us.
2 cars.
Yeah. We had
It's funny. I have seen Korn 2 more times since then.
I have not. That was the only time I've ever seen them. Snoop Dogg was also at that show, which was
The
weird. And
Used, Less
the
Than
Used,
Jake,
Less Than Jake, yep. And
Snoop, then
Linkin
Korn,
Park.
and then on kind of a sad note, I was gonna go see Linkin Park. They were scheduled to come to Denver a couple months after
After
Chester
Chester
Bennington
died. Yeah.
and so we were really looking at going, and I was looking forward to seeing them again because they were so good. And then heard that news, I was just broken.
That was awful. And I mean, it was a suicide. It was months after Chris Cornell from Soundgarden and Audio
a year
Slave.
after?
Yeah, roughly. And Chester Bennington, Chris Cornell was a mentor and a close friend of his, and that just wrecked him. That was awful. And just,
but
I guess
that's exactly why we're doing the race in September for AFSP. It's not just struck us personally, but even people that we look up to and follow in music.
Yeah, music and everybody. And athletes too. I mean, it's just there's just such a, I don't have any statistics offhand, but so many athletes after their careers end, whether it's they're too old or an injury, they're not good enough, and a lot of athletes struggle with their mental health after their careers end because it's just that's all they knew. It's like you grew up and you played football or basketball or soccer or hockey, and then all of a sudden the career's over, and you're in the NFL. If you're a running back, for example, the average career of a running back is like 3 years. 3 years, you get drafted out of college, you're like 25, 26. Like you've played football for the last 16, 20 years, nothing else, and now it's like you're 26, like you're in the prime of your life, and it's like, what do you do? And a lot of athletes struggle.
No, it is hard. I was an athlete through high school and college, and I finished up college, took about a year and a half off, but I ended up getting back into the pool and competing for several more years. And
I mean, in addition,
finally time just caught up. I didn't have any to still do it. Otherwise I probably would. You're right. It's all I knew.
It's, I mean, you've been swimming. I mean,
I've been involved literally my entire life.
You were already like, so we met, for those who don't know, if you've listened to the show enough, Erik and I sat next to each other on the first day of 4th grade. That's when we met. We found out we lived in the same neighborhood our entire lives. We were born a month apart, and you were already years into swimming at that point. You're what, like 9 at that?
Yeah. Well, I started when I was 8, but I'd been around swimming. My dad was a high school swim coach, so I was around the pool and swim meets all the time. Swam, I think, ended up being better part of 21 years before I finally stopped.
I played soccer.
And now I'm coaching.
Yeah,
so I'm still around it.
Soccer when I was 4. I mean, that was the first time I ever played soccer, and I didn't take it very seriously. I was, I made varsity. I was the bench warmer of a team. Like my senior year, I think we went like 6-13 or something like that. I got hurt my senior year, and I tried to hide the injury, and it didn't. I ended up falling to the end of the bench because I just couldn't play, and I'm just like, this is my last chance. I'm like, I'm not playing in college other than, with the guys in my dorm. And I didn't take it seriously, and it just had this, like, this is it for me. My coach put me in on the last game. For the last like 5 minutes, we were losing in the state tournament that we were in, and knew we were done. And he put me in for the last 5 minutes as the senior send-off, kind of empty the bench kind of thing. And it hit hard, where it's just like, it's over now. Like everything else is going to be like beer league from here on out, college and beer league. And it's tough. It's very tough. I mean, we're like probably like 15 minutes into the show. We haven't discussed anything.
But we have signups coming in.
It's more important. It's honestly, it's way more important. What we're doing here.
Signups are coming in. $20 minimum donation to AFSP, 100% of the money that comes in goes to them. We will not see a penny out of this.
We are
We're running-
losing money. Any sponsorship money we collect will offset our costs, but anything over break even, that extra gets thrown into the fundraiser. The best we're going to do here for ourselves is break even, and we're going to probably end up losing money on this. Don't care. This is not for us to make money. This is not for us to go around and pat ourselves on the back. We're here because this is very important. It's a very important cause for us. So
100 laps, Michigan, next gen fixed setups. If you are interested, come on out, join us. We're just looking forward to a fun day, September 16th.
frracingonline.com/AFSP 200. Links at the bottom of the screen. It's in the description as well. So on that note, we were not planning on getting into that discussion today, but that's generally what happens when Erik and I talk. It goes way off topic very fast and very long.
We meander.
Again, this is now, let's see, it's been 30 years now. We met 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Every now I put these ages and we say it, and it's like, oh crap.
Hey, this podcast, we keep it real. We share stories and we tell how we're idiots and how we've maybe done some smart things every now and then.
We haven't even scratched the surface on some of the things we've done, and we're not really going to go into some of that stuff because it's just like, no. But anyway, it's just, I don't know where I was going to go with that, but we BCD. Let's veer back on track.
Jeez.
So I told Erik, I said, I'm going to race in this. I missed out on Wednesday night dash. Congratulations to Mark Vickers. Awesome job. I watched from my
season.
I watched from my hotel room sitting outside of Disneyland. I paced the entire time. I got that into it because it was a wild show. Hunter Hughes needed a lot to go right. He needed to win and a lot of things to go wrong for Ian and Mark to win. We did find a scenario though where we found a three-way tie between them, but it would have been just a crazy scenario for that to happen. Hunter and Ian bump. Hunter spins out. Ian's rallying back and finishing third, I think, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think so. Tyler was still second. Hunter
Tyler
third.
was second, and
Mike was fourth. Ian eclipsed me on the last lap because I looped it.
Yeah, Ian and Mark got into this battle 10 minutes into the 45-minute race. And I'm just like, oh, this right here is going to decide the championship. We're 10 minutes into the 45 minutes, and we're going to find something out here in the next couple of minutes. And Ian made an aggressive move and ended up in the grass, and just ill-advised, unfortunately. But that's the risk you take when you race. And then Mark has a moment where he's like, I'm not sure I have enough fuel to make it to the end. And kind of tucks in behind Tyler, and then drops, just mic drop right there. He's like, I gotta save. I don't know if I have an F. And then he's like, okay, I've saved enough. Blows right by Tyler, and he's gone.
On the front stretch.
He's like, all right, I've saved enough. I'm like, okay, that was awesome. As I'm pacing around my hotel room, I'm like, man, that is great television right there, folks. It's just.
Oh, it's crazy. I finished sixth, but I was still on lead lap.
It helps. It helps that you did a 20.
Race.
Yeah, it helps you did a 24-hour race.
6 hours in the seat in January.
Yes, 6 hours in the seat in January, and
even at that, I was running, I think, 2 or 3 seconds faster than I was in January. I was happy if I was hitting 49s, and I was running 47s consistently.
Which
still
that's great.
About a second and a half off Mark and Tyler's pace, but we're looking, if we get a couple more drivers, we could maybe have 2 teams for FR Racing in the Daytona 24.
Our team of Erik and Mark and Hunter and Andrew Hewitt, all 4 of them are back. Brought in Ian Miller. Ian has joined the endurance squad. This is exciting. I mean, we're gonna have well, are you gonna go GT class in there? Or are we gonna maybe
Um,
maybe pick up a Cadillac potentially?
there's been some chatter of maybe toying with the Cadillac. That would be a fun ride.
Yeah. All right.
We had a little sample of that the other
We
day, a
did.
couple weeks
Yeah, and
ago when it came out.
my wheel, that was the crash of the week a couple weeks ago. My wheel disconnected. And prop time. So
I've had fun running that Cadillac so far. It's
so
a different drive, but it's fun.
bringing back the prop wheel here. So my FX Pro from Sim Magic, you can get this through Extreme Sim Racing. Link for them is in the description of this episode. This is an amazing piece of equipment right here. This thing is built extremely well. You've got two sets of paddle shifters on here. You've got a analog dual clutch built into this. You've got the screen. They just released a bunch of new screens, and this window is scuffed because somebody put their finger on it, and I think it was one of my children. But so I did a firmware update. They released an update to the Sim Pro Manager, and after you do the update to the wheelbase. But then on the back of the Sim Pro, of the the FX Pro, and I have the round wheel as well. There's a USB-C port right here that you plug in, and then there's the wheel firmware updater. And you do this separately. You plug that right into your computer. You run the wheel updater. It takes about 5 minutes. Like, okay, we're good. So if you've seen our crash of the week, you noticed I'm driving. I've got my wheel here. I'm driving, and I come around turn one, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, what's going on? And I just blow right through the turn and crash into the wall, and the wheel disconnected. And I learned the hard way that you need to resync the wheel. There was some interference. I mean, this is a wireless wheel. There's pins in here that make contact with the wheel, but this is actually, it's wireless. Like this actually, the screen, the buttons, this is a wireless interface on here. I mean, you could plug in the wire if you want. It kind of defeats the purpose of a wireless wheel, but there was some interference. I got disconnected, and the screen started doing some weird things. And ultimately, what I forgot to do was you got to hold down these two buttons here. The screen turns blue, all the buttons turn blue, resyncs, you're good to go. I had another problem where I was having some interference. I honestly have no idea why. Some people say if you keep your cell phone too close, it can cause problems. They're different frequencies, but wireless mouse, you got a Bluetooth, that can cause some interference. So I changed the channel in the Sim Pro. You resync it with holding the two buttons, turns blue. You're back up and running again. And knock on wood, I ran the whole BCD race last night, no issues. So I think I am through those problems. And hey, congratulations, champ. That's 2 series that you've won season 1.
Season 1 of Wednesday Night Dash is pretty much us.
Yeah, and my brother, which doesn't really count as anyone who ever
That's
watched my
still
brother
more
race.
fun, and that was a wild race on Tuesday.
The thing is, like, I didn't want to push it initially. It took me about 10 laps to get back into my comfort zone. I was hanging like half a second back of the group. But it's like, you're never
as long as you stay in a draft, you're there.
You're never like, you could be a second out and you're never out of it, truly.
Yeah, if you're in that second range, you can get sucked back in on these cars.
And I thought I screwed myself. You and Tyler went to pit under green. I was going to pit. I didn't brake hard enough. And I'm like, if I enter the pit right now, I'm going to blow right past it. But I lost all my momentum. I ended up coming back onto the track. And I'm in third gear on the front stretch. I had to get back up to speed. I took the lead, got a lap led. I beat Tyler to the line.
When
pacing.
we pit, I was a tad slow getting into the box, and when we left, I'm like, there goes the season.
pitting under
But
green is not
we
something there's a lot of things I'm not good at, but I'm definitely not good at pitting under green.
we had a lot of green flag pit stops, and those made and
Oh yeah.
broke some
I
races
mean,
this
you win
season,
by a half a
even with just a
second.
few drivers.
You pit too early, you go, you don't get your limiter on, and you're having to constantly make sure that you're not going to exceed that. I don't know
Well,
why my
Auto
limiter.
Club 2 weeks ago, that the pit stop that decided the race. It wasn't on track action. It was the pit stop.
My limiter wouldn't turn on. I don't know what happened. So I come out of there. I'm 12th. I went from a half second back to 12 seconds back, and I'm just like, well, at least I'm going to finish third. And then a caution comes out with like 15 to go.
When I saw that, I'm like, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. But I'm like, this is awesome. I was done.
Out.
Tyler was pulling away.
He was gone.
I was not catching him.
He was gone. I'm 12 seconds back. You're 3 seconds back. I'm 12 seconds back. We're the only ones on the lead lap. And like, I was just thinking, I'm finished. I'm like, I'm just going to cruise here. I'll take my third place, 12 seconds back. Then the caution comes out.
Too. I came on the radio. I'm like, I can't catch you.
And Tyler's like, oh, no. It's like, I did not need this. And we pack together. You and Tyler pit. I opt not to because I had just pit like, I don't know, less than 10 laps earlier. I'm just like,
yeah, he's gaming me a little bit, and I saw him pit, and I'm like, I'm going.
I'm just like, I don't see the need. I stayed out. I led 4 more laps staying out. I led 5 laps in the race last night, 4 under caution.
No, it was a purely gamesmanship type thing with the setup of the leaders, of hoping I'd get caught out and just having 10 lap fresher tires.
It didn't make a difference. I was hanging right there with, I didn't have as quick of a restart. Tyler blew right by me on the backstretch after we turned green, but I was half a second back, less than half a second back for the last 10.
Yeah,
I made a big
I shadowed
push.
him like, I'm going to match you. Then on that restart, I was slow too, and I ended up moving back to 4th. One of another new racer, Derek, he jumped in for the first time. It was hard because he was 2 laps down, but he's doing the right thing. It's like, no, let us race. But he's 2 laps down. If he gets ahead of leaders and like Tyler and I take ourselves out, he can come around.
Yeah, he'll get away from He's back on the lead lap. He was not
fighting you for the win. And so it's like, yeah, that's how you got to race that.
Yeah, I don't blame him one bit for his move. And I got by him with about, 4 to go.
I think he ended up backing out with a few laps to go, letting the leaders go, which that's awesome. I totally respect that.
I was pushing him hard, and he eventually just kind of let me by. And I don't know if I made the cleanest pass getting by him because I saw him kind of wobble a little bit. I don't know if I have to go back and look and see. I don't know if that was my fault or if that was him just kind of backing off and it wasn't the cleanest, back off.
But restart 11 to go. I get shuffled back into 4th in the running order. And I think that next lap after we've gone green, I just fly through you guys.
Yeah.
I ended up running a 24.5 that lap. Like I was just full sending it. Like I have to get up there.
We get down, we're like 2 laps to go. You and Tyler are just basically hogging the road.
No room to go. I'm pinned on the inside and I can't do anything. If I could have, I would have gotten behind him to draft and just sit in line, but I'm like, I'm stuck. I cannot move.
I was sitting behind you the whole time. And I'm just looking for that mistake where one of you gives me that little bit of room where I can maybe split the middle or maybe slide up, and it never happened. And I'm just
I was talking to Tyler afterwards. We were both doing the same thing. Like I'm trying to push myself up the track because I'm running on the apron.
You were absolutely
like I had no room to move. And how I made that car stick full throttle, even at Vegas, like you can keep it full throttle, but I made it stick somehow.
At
We
that
even bump
point-
out of 4 a couple times.
At that point, I had to ease off just a little bit into at least 3 and
Yeah,
4.
you get the arrow push behind me. I had the clean air.
Yeah.
So that's the difference on that.
Yep.
But I think for like half a lap, I was able to get in line, but then I had to run. I'm like, shoot, I have to go in. So I'm fighting as hard as I can just to keep it from just losing it.
So we come around last lap, and I'm just like, all right, gotta go. I gotta do something here. And I'm just like, there's no, you guys never opened even the slightest hole.
But so I was getting to, I'm trying to push him up. He's trying to push me down.
Yeah. So what I was doing, what you two were doing is, you're trying to push him up, and
he's side drafting.
He's side drafting, and then every once in a while there'd be this little bit of a gap in the middle, and I'm just like, do I go for that? And I'm just like, that would be really awful of me in the last couple of laps, especially the last lap. These two guys are battling out for the championship. I'm this clown who shows up to the final race of the 10-race season for the first time. And then I take out the championship competitors and probably myself in the process. I'm just like, I can't do it. So I never make the move. We come around turn 4, and I'm just like, okay, this is my Ross Chastain move. And I go right to the apron. As soon as the apron
That's a
comes...
no-no in the IndyCar at Vegas.
Yeah. And I'm just like holding on for dear life on the apron. And if you watch the replay on our Instagram page, and it's up on YouTube as well, you can see as we cross the finish line, you and Tyler, you're 15 thousandths of a second ahead of him, just that much, literally. I'm just slightly further back on the apron coming across the line. You two go by, and you see me come slowly back onto the track and kind of turn, not completely sideways, but you just see this, kind of get loose coming back on, and I managed to hold it. And I was like,
to be honest, I had no clue you were there. Yeah. I was only looking ahead. I wasn't even looking mirrors. I was trying not to spit out a 4.
The best part of the whole process, I went back and I watched the replay. We got to push that Twitch over to YouTube and save that forever. Like, we need to keep that.
Was insane.
And I went back and I watched the last couple of laps from your perspective, but I was watching the virtual mirror of me in the background, of me just kind of like, when am I going to get my chance? When am I going to get my chance? And all of a sudden we're on the final, coming around to the start finish line on the final lap. And all of a sudden you just see me disappear.
I wasn't even at that point. I wasn't even watching the mirror because I didn't care. I'm like, nobody behind me is going by.
Nope. I mean, the only way I would be impacting this finish is if I took one or both of you out.
Yeah.
And I was absolutely not going to do that. Or at least I hope I wasn't going to do it. I didn't. But
it was such a weird setup because I knew going in that if I ended up second, I had to take pole and I had to try to go for most laps led.
Didn't get that.
And
you didn't get either, did you?
Pole, no. But since I didn't get pole, it didn't matter about laps led. And that's where I had to charge, and I try to get to the front to lead a lap as early as I can. Is I needed to offset one of those bonus points. And then when I didn't get the pole, I'm like, oh, it's win or bust. So there were a couple of times I got runs, I passed Tyler, but then he came right back because he was not going to allow me to lead the most laps.
He is really good in the IndyCar. Really good. We
both had the points figured out and knew what it was as we were running. And that's why you see me sit behind him for such a long time.
So I'm not totally familiar with your point system because it's definitely different from Wednesday Night Dash.
Yeah, it is different. It follows the IndyCar's structure.
So let's just say hypothetically, I pull my miracle move on the apron. I win that race. You finish second. Tyler finishes third. Do you have enough points to still win the season? Finishing second.
Yeah, if I finished ahead of him at all, I would have won because I was still 10 points up.
So
I
I don't.
started 10 points.
Okay,
So
so I don't feel so bad then or making that move because I'm just like I want to win this.
that's
thing.
where if he won, that's 50 points, and then second place is 40.
Oh
So
yeah,
there's
so
10 points. Now it comes down to bonus points.
yep,
So
yep.
if we offset, there was a potential if I had taken pole and then we each lead a lap and he leads most laps, we tie. So that's where everything
But
was
but yet
so
yet
critical.
yet I come walking in completely cold off the street, 63 thousandths of a second away from winning the race.
You know, we had a small group running. It was hard because we can't broadcast
Yeah,
and
but hey,
trying to get
Derek,
a
you
league up and
mentioned
going.
Derek. Derek, I loiter around the Facebook league group, and Derek posts on there, "Hey, looking for an IndyCar league," and I'm like, I know of one, and I said, "Hey, I know of a league. Races tonight. Tonight's the finale. League next season doesn't start till August, but come on in. It's free." And he's like, "Sounds great. Let's do it." And I send him the info. He signs up. We get him into the Discord. He's racing with us. He's another guy out of it. We've got Ian Miller, who's out of Indiana. We've got Derek, who's Southern Indiana. Ian's Northern. We're Central Indiana natives. Like we've got this whole Indiana
So did you see
thing
the
going.
car that he was running?
I did. That was awesome.
So fun note, I built that for him. I made that car Tuesday morning and
Wait,
sent it
what?
over. I built that car.
Wait, Derek's
That
car?
yeah,
The Mach 5?
the Mach 5, I made it. He
Did
just talked
you?
about it and like, I can do it for you.
No kidding. That's awesome. I had no. I'm like I saw that coming in. Like, oh, nice Speed Racer Mach 5. That
Yeah,
is sweet.
that's actually my setup there.
Nice. That was really awesome.
So anybody
I assumed he got
looking,
that on trading paints,
no,
but
no, that was my car.
you
It
should
looked
put that up
cool.
on. You should put that up on trading
I
paints.
have a variation of it too, which is red halo and little speed racer logo on the tail.
Yeah, you need to put that up on trading paints. I think that would be get some
So,
attention for you.
if anybody listening looking for a car, I will not do recreations. It will all be one-offs. So if you're looking for something, hit me up.
So I'm trying
Build
to
you a
think.
car.
I'm trying to think last night. I'm like, I was definitely more aggressive than I think I've ever been in any race that we've done, minus the Talladega ARCA race last year,
No, you had
where
a great race.
I
You did a lot of good things.
and I'm just thinking, what did I mean, experience helps, but I just walked into that cold and I did some practice laps. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be off the pace a little bit. And I wasn't. I'm just like, what in the heck is going on here? So
No,
was it
even
the
if you're slow on some of these tracks, onmes you get in and get going, if you stay with the
oh
pack,
yeah,
you're
you're
in it,
you're you're safe.
and
I'm
it's
just like,
intense.
was it the Malört? I took my so they redesigned the paint builder in trading paints, and I couldn't use my previous Malört, so I made a variation Malört where it was all blue, the Chicago flag blue color. I made it blue and white, put the Malört on there. This time I put the old style logo right next to it and called it the Chicago Handshake Special. On the front of the nose, you got the Malört logo, you got the old style logo right there. And I'm just like, was it the Chicago Handshake that did it? I got the Chicago Handshake. The other thing I did was I wore my gloves for like the third time ever. I got these as a Christmas present. And I just like part of the problem was with these gloves, like these are karting gloves. They don't have the touch screen. Like you can get like sim racing gloves and they have I mean these things are sweet. These are good karting gloves. I got them on like clearance from somewhere, but if I ever get into karting, I can wear these. And these things are sick. They're Sparco, good quality gloves. But the problem is, they don't have the touch screen. So if I have to touch my phone, it doesn't work. On the Stream Deck, it's like, it's not too bad. But I started in the Wednesday night dash season and I'd start with the gloves and I just, no, not wearing these. And last night I wore the gloves the whole way through. And I don't know if it's because I wasn't worried about managing a league or managing a broadcast and I was just driving. Maybe that was it.
And
But
you had a great race. I'm sure those first like 10, 15 laps were like, what is going on? We were all over the place. I think the lead changed at least a half
I
dozen
I
times,
was
if
I
not
was
more.
hanging in the back in fifth, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna I need to get my bearing straight here, because if I come in and fight somebody, I was sliding around a little bit. I'm just trying to get used to this thing again. I'm not gonna fight anybody. I'm gonna hang in the back, and then all of a sudden, I'm just like, okay, let's do this.
Uh,
And
you know, we had quite
my
a few
my
drivers cycle through. Got to give props to Tyler. He was
oh
crazy fast. He missed
man,
one race
he's
and a
good.
couple incidents. He probably wins the title hands
Yeah,
down.
yeah, oh yeah,
But
yeah. A couple
I mean, at the end
mistakes
of the
here and
day,
there.
you gotta run the races and all that.
You say you can't win the
And
race if you don't finish the race.
Brian McKinney, just another fantastic racer.
Oh yeah,
And he
I
just
I
got stronger every race out.
the
So
other
much fun to
day
race with him.
I was debating if I had time to go run a truck race the other day, and I was getting ready to queue up, and I realized I don't have enough time to run it right now, so I didn't. But I was looking at it, and I saw Brian was registered. Like, hey, Brian, we've run into him before out on
Mhm.
races
I think he
too.
did a recruiting race with us in the trucks
He
at Vegas.
he did.
I think that's what got him onto us.
We got him into the. He came in the ARCA season. Was
Oh,
the first
maybe.
time. Yeah,
Maybe
but
I'm thinking somebody else.
he's been, yeah, like he's been, like we just said, through the ARCA season, he was just super quiet out there,
And
and he was just very consistent.
he talked a lot during the IndyCar season, so it's
Yeah,
good
yeah.
to
It's
do
just like
that.
I said,
But
after the ARCA
he's
season,
a
I'm like,
silent driver.
yeah,
You got to watch out because if you don't pay attention, he is there and he is gonna
he's just,
pounce.
yeah.
He's
And I
man, I
said
like
after the
racing
ARCA
Brian.
season, I'm like, I don't think I heard Brian speak once during the season. And then, I don't know, maybe it was just his style, or he didn't have a mic at the time, or what. But it's just like, hey, he does speak.
Yeah, I like racing with him.
Yeah,
He's so
he's really
cool.
good, really clean. I mean, we've put together a really good group.
Yeah, the people that we race with in Winston Night Dash, and now that we've had race with us in BCD, we're fun racers. We race
It's fun.
very hard,
We've got a
but
nice,
we're
we've got
pretty
a
clean as a group.
we've got a good community. It's a community. We've put a good community together.
Well, and a bunch
Um,
of us, we all pair up for endurance races,
yeah, we built this
which is awesome.
endurance team. I mean, I'm not me. I broadcasted. I'm just not ready to be in the seat there. But uh, today I was talking to Justin, and I said, "Hey, is Erik Blum coming back this fall?" And he said, "Yeah, he's ready to go. He had some stuff he had to take care of at home, and he was building a new PC, but he's coming back." So Erik's confirmed he's coming back for the fall in the ARCA series. On that note, the ARCA series, I was out there today, running some laps. I did a time trial at or a time attack ARCA car Dover. Wasn't a hard hit on the wall, but it was a bit of a bump. Meatball. It's going to be completely different this year. You cannot that damage model. We knew this. The damage model and the update changed significantly. And these cars are no longer tanks. They are now made of glass, apparently. So that's going to impact the racing in this series a lot this year. There's no aggressive bumping. If you hit a car square on at more than like 30 miles an hour, you're going to destroy the front end of your car. I don't know if that's realistically accurate, if they're going to fix that before then, or if that's what they're just going to say, okay. But we need to keep an eye out for that. Like, we can't be super aggressive. Otherwise, we're going to be spending a lot of time in the pits doing fast repairs.
Yeah, and we don't want that either.
No, it just takes away the fun. But I'll be putting a disclaimer out to the group that this is not going to be the ARCA League of last year. We need to no bump drafting. You can't bump draft in these cars. And two, don't be surprised if you have a bit of a lick. You're going to end up with a meatball, and you're going to end up having to pit for get a fast repair. So, be an interesting season.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
Before we wrap, we need to talk Chicago Street Race. We've been talking about this for months. We ran the Wednesday night race there back in like February.
I really like
Here.
how all of the hype videos, like, hey, let's take a lap around the street circuit. They all come from iRacing.
I mean, this was a fake track, fake course put together by iRacing because, yeah, during the early days of COVID, because there is nobody out in the, there is no way you have been able to go out there and scan Michigan Avenue through Grant Park with their equipment unless nobody was on the streets. And that never happens in Chicago.
No,
but we have a
24/7.
once in a lifetime global pandemic, which sends everybody home. Everybody's off the streets for a while. And iRacing is like, hey, I've got an idea. Let's go send out our laser scanners, our LiDAR truck, and let's scan these streets of Chicago and make a fake course. And then the mayor of Chicago says, hey, can we make this a real thing?
It's funny. It was on Instagram earlier. I was watching Stuart Haas employees trying to take laps, and one of their people crashed just like we did into turn one, too much speed, and just went
just fly right into that wall. Somebody on there's some people that said, hey, this is actually kind of fun. Some people like, this thing sucks. This place is very polarizing. Some people, like, they get out there and drive it like, hey, this is actually really cool, and other people like, this is like the Baku street course on Wish. And
yeah, I'm hearing the Xfinity drivers may have the most fun because they're going to have no practice, get out, try to qualify, and then, hey, go race 100 plus miles.
Anthony Alfredo is going to have a major advantage here.
Whoever's been on iRacing is gonna have a jump start.
Anthony Alfredo is gonna be, keep an eye on him this weekend. He's had some bad luck and wrong place at the wrong time. He has scary incident at Sonoma the other week.
Yep.
But keep an eye out for him this weekend. He might make might surprise some people. But we
got a busy weekend. Chicago Street Race. We got Indy at Mid Ohio. Then British Formula One. They're off and running.
What's hilarious is during I don't know if this was a practice.
Austria.
Austria. Yeah, you're right. It's Austria this week. Britain's like 2 weeks from now.
So they have a sprint race on Saturday.
Yeah, they have a sprint race on Saturday.
There was qualifying Friday, sprint Saturday, race on Sunday.
There was this clip from, I think it was from Canada, and Max Verstappen goes over a curb and almost wrecks himself. And I don't know if it's qualification or a practice, and goes on his radio and he's like, did you see that? I almost wrecked myself out of there. Ha 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 ha. It's like, man, this guy is so in the zone right now that he's like laughing on the radio about making a mistake and almost like totaling his car.
See, Max and Yuki, they were driving monster trucks the other day. AlphaTauri is going to be pulling out of F1 here. I did see that one today.
I didn't see that. What is this?
AlphaTauri is going to be pulling back from Formula One.
No kidding. I thought they were going to make that Daniel Ricciardo, they're going to kick Nick DeVries out and put him in his seat. It's
going to be rebranded in 2024, and if Tsunoda and DeVries stay, up in the air. And so far, they are last in the constructors with 2 points.
Yeah, and Logan Sargent hasn't exactly helped his case at Williams, but Alex Albon's looked pretty good with a very inferior machine.
Yeah, I was seeing there too. They're basically 20 years behind, and in relation to the cap that they have, their boss is talking about how all these other teams have already spent the capital to get their research and development where Williams didn't, and they're just behind, and now it's almost impossible to catch up.
Yeah, I mean
They can spend their entire cap for a research piece, but then, well, we're done for the season.
I mean, they're done for the season anyway, regardless. So
And kind
maybe
of complaining a little bit like, hey, these top teams, like they voted for the cap once they had all their stuff, but these other teams that didn't do it,
they're
oh, sorry.
screwed.
Yeah. So they're hoping for
I
some
mean,
concessions from FIA to
yeah, I mean
be able to
Williams.
close that gap.
If Williams wants to close the gap, they basically, I mean, they've been terrible for a long time, but I mean, they're basically have to tank another 5 years to catch up, at minimum, probably.
They
At
just
the
got to get
at
the infrastructure built.
Yeah, and they have, they said they have the investors now. They have the support of the investors to build the infrastructure. It's just, yeah, following the rules basically. Which
And maybe they can get some help from FIA, but if not, it's time.
so does somebody other than Max Verstappen win this weekend?
No.
I don't think so either. I mean, I
Maybe
think
the Mercedes are getting up there. Maybe Ferrari figures out how to run a race.
I think we might see a double podium for Mercedes again. They've been looking better. I mean, Max is in another world, but Checo, his
He's
seat's
been
a little
struggling here
hot.
recently.
His seat is hot.
And I brought it up last week. Is it an intentional thing trying to hurt Checo, or is he just in his head trying to push too much and
Probably
he's
both.
slowing down?
Probably both.
You know they don't want him challenging Max, and he was up until a
For a
couple
while.
weeks ago. Now he's
You know,
69 points back.
you know who? I heard a rumor that if they give Checo the boot, there was a rumor of a driver that they were potentially chasing down. It's not Daniel Ricciardo. It's not anybody that's currently sitting in Formula One.
Alex Palou.
Alex Palou, yeah.
He's just today, as of recording, he was linked to 4 teams today.
Yeah, I mean he's the reserve driver for McLaren, which it almost seems like if let's just say Palou to Red Bull doesn't happen, Checo gets the boot. You think somebody like Lando Norris gets a shot?
I think you get some interesting things of what happens with Lewis Hamilton and where does he go?
Could you imagine
Lewis still
Hamilton
rumoring to Ferrari?
Could you imagine Lewis Hamilton teammates with Max at Red Bull? That would be the weirdest thing ever.
Well, if Hamilton goes to Ferrari, who leaves? Leclerc or Sainz? Then do they maybe fill a vacant Red Bull seat?
It almost seems like Mr. Leclerc, Charles Leclerc. It's like they're almost like trying to destroy his like will to drive, and I don't understand why. Like he's been like openly depressed on the radio. It's sad. I mean, it's sad.
Well, last race they're telling him that Carlos will not attack you.
He's just like, I don't.
They told him that
like,
twice.
He's like, I don't know what to do. Because I'm at a loss for like what to do. I just, can something go right for me, please?
They had a good result, but they are so inept right now.
Which I didn't think they could get
it.
any more inept than they were last year, and then they found a way. But I mean, there's also too a lot of transitioning going on in Ferrari right now, and you've got the prior people that are being pushed out, and Fred Vasseur is starting to put his people in place, and it's just like people are getting run out, and it's like, am I going to get fired? And Ferrari is not a place I would want to be right now. If I were anyone, frankly. I mean, if you were Fred's guy, then maybe, but yeah, if you were employed before he came, I'd be worried about my job security, regardless of what your role in the team is.
Yeah, so, I don't get it.
Are we gonna do a live race day for the Chicago race this weekend?
Yeah, I think we can find a way to make that happen.
I think we have to.
It's gonna be wild enough. I got to figure out how to be able to watch it in my new setup because I don't have the TV with me.
Oh, yeah, that's
But if I have Hulu, I should be able to stream it on one of my monitors.
yeah, there you go.
So we make it happen.
Figure it out. Yeah, I'll probably have some guests sitting in here with me where hopefully this time I do not swear in front of my children, but that was a classic clip right there. But anyway, I think we covered everything. 2 years. We've done this 2 years now officially. 1,000 Instagram followers. We've last year achieved partners or affiliate status, not partner, affiliate status on Twitch. We almost were having to consider leaving Twitch after their little policy change a month ago, but they've since seemed to have backed off of that, I think.
Episode 50, most podcasts don't get this far.
Episode 50, most do not get beyond episode 3. Very few get beyond 20. We're at 50. We've run 2 leagues. We're gonna have a good turnout in Wednesday Night Dash for this summer and fall season.
Yeah, it's gonna be something.
If we can get 5, I gotta make some. I gotta send some notes out to some of our drivers who sat out last season because they did not want to do some GT racing, which I don't blame them. It's not for everybody. It's definitely different.
It was a tough season.
But if we can get, we get somebody like Caden McAreevy back, that's a huge addition to the field. Like I said, Erik Blum's coming back. Scott McCarris, who won a couple races last year, get him back. We get 5 more drivers. We could have a 20 driver field this fall.
Don't make a mistake, because that'll hurt you.
Especially race 1 at Daytona. But I'm looking forward to it. You saw I took the FX Pro off. Got the GTS, the round wheel on the base for the first time in quite a while. So yeah, Wednesday Night Dash. 10 races now. We've reduced the price to $40.
Yes.
So it mostly covers the broadcast fee. The rest of it gets whatever is not part of the broadcast fee gets tossed into the prize pool. Not going to be a huge prize pool, but it gives something to race for.
We enjoy the racing.
We got a bunch of dads and a bunch of college students. That's basically the demographic of this group.
Yes, we do.
Dads and college students. But we got a good group. We're growing. We're doing better. Come race with us. frracingonline.com/WND. Join the BCD League. It's free.
Yeah, free entry.
It's free.
Come race.
It's free.
And there is a prize for the top finisher.
Yeah. Which, you had to not give that up because giving yourself the prize would not be.
I don't want it anyway.
I mean, you already have it. You got yourself a nice kit. So
yep, it is this past season was a starter kit from Rogue Energy.
Free entry. Come race Tuesday nights in Asterix car, because apparently we can't say IndyCar. I don't know if that's really the case, or if that's just an internet joke, but it's Asterix car is what they're calling it, or US Open Wheel Class C.
Yep.
A lot of good stuff. AFSP 200. Sign up. We're going to be pushing hard on the registration. I think we've got 6 so far. Tentatively committed. We got to get, start collecting donations to lock people into the fields, but we're capping it at 36. We're going to make our hard push. Working on some cool prizes, some guests. It's going to be a good event, for a great cause. We're going to raise $1,000. We're going to blow that number away. I've got a good feeling about it.
Yeah, come on out. We got a lot of fun things happening. ARCA, open wheel, charity race, you name it, we're running.
We're doing really well on social media. Good video. I don't know. It's just things are, we're at a much different place than we were a year ago. And it's just like what we have learned, just everything, just, operating this, running leagues, social media, streaming, driving itself. It's amazing how far we've come, from year 1 to year 2.
And all the followers, thank you for your support.
Thank you. And
makes it worth doing all this stuff and building it up. Or it's fun.
My car was my Chicago Handshake special was on the old style story the other day, which is pretty cool. So that was exciting to see.
You got any ideas for what I should run in ARCA? Toss them our way. Let me know. I'm still trying to decide.
You want to sponsor the race? Sponsor the series? Got some good opportunities there.
May not be broadcast, but if you want to broadcast, sponsor the BCD series also. We get social media posts out.
We've had some good looking cars too in the that you've put together for the sponsored races. I mean, why not?
We'll build a car.
You have spent 15, $20. You've spent far worse with 15 or $20. Like, you'll get your car with your logo or whatever, your product, your name, your brand. You'll get a nice screenshot that you can print out and frame at home, put that on that 8x10 hanging on your wall.
And depending on that car, it's usually at least an hour, maybe 2 or 3 hours putting it together to make it look good. So
my favorite so far was the Bryant and me car you did for the Texas race last year, or you put you put Bryant on one side and you put Thomas, me on the other side of the car. I sent it to them.
I still feel bad. I lost it off of 4 and ended up getting a black flag because I had a fast car that day.
I podiumed that race in my my Malört special there, but I sent it to Thomas Costello and I said, "Hey, this isn't final. This is what Erik's playing around with. What do you think?" And he comes back. He's like, "That is awesome." I'm like, "All right, all right, awesome, good to hear."
Yeah, one of my favorite. I've done I think 3 now. Bryant Me podcast. I did Foam Finger podcast. That was a fun one.
Merch Booth, which is Thomas Costello's. Yeah, that was his other show that he came back.
That was another one. I had a lot of fun building that one.
That was a good looking car. That's my wallpaper on my rig machine. I've got the Chicago Street Race, or I've got my Carroll Shelby tribute Mustang with your Merch Booth car right behind, and with the Chicago skyline in the background. Just great wallpaper.
I guess I've had 4. I did the Garage Talk ARCA car last year.
And you won with that car too.
I did. Talladega. I'm going to mix it up this year though. Or have at least a different look.
Yeah, so we're going to post about it. Grab your spot. Grab your car. There's far worse, like I said. There are far worse things you could spend your money on.
Yeah, $5. Let me build you a car. It's going to be wild.
Yeah,
I'm going to guarantee you that.
$10, we're putting your name on the race. $5, and we're putting your name on the car. Like, that's a killer deal.
You got podcast, business.
Yeah, you got a podcast, you got a blog, you got a social media channel. Our announcer, who we will be announcing here soon. We got some things we need to finalize, but we pretty sure we have an announcer. Eli had to step down; just his schedule's out of control, so he couldn't commit to the next season. So we should have the announcer information finalized here in the next week. I gotta have a quick call with this person, but I'm excited. This person has not done racing, but they actually have done play-by-play on the college and professional level for actually multiple sports. So I hope that works out okay, because I don't want the added stressor of having to chase down an announcer with over the next month. So yeah, that should do it for tonight. I think we probably blew past an hour. I think.
I'm sure.
We'll skip the official. I didn't look to see what time we started, but
episode 50, huge milestone.
50. It's the 2-year anniversary show. We got to go long.
We're building. We're bringing more content to you.
We're
getting better at what we do.
We're getting better at what we do. We're having a lot of fun doing it. It's to the point that my wife is like, I want to help out with this. You guys you can't have all the fun. I said, okay, we need help. Get to work.
Well, keep bringing you stuff, keep following along. And
So, speaking of that real quick, before we totally wrap, we need to reschedule. We were planning on doing the significant other challenge. We had to postpone it just for schedules. What do we think about doing that in like either right before or right after the charity race?
I think that could work.
Give some time. I mean, we have 4 drivers that are interested in participating. We might have a few more. She isn't bad. She's done 2 or 3 practice sessions. We put her out in Vegas, put her into the next gen. She got the hang of it. She was only about 2 seconds off of a quote normal pace, having absolutely no experience with this at all. So
not bad.
I'm feeling pretty good as the coach. We're going to be broadcasting that event. We won't laugh too hard because most of us are going to be in the same room. We're also going to be doubling as coaches for them. And laughing at our students is probably not good for any of us.
If I do that, it won't go.
We may never see you again.
It's gonna be fun.
I'll just get yelled at once the stream ends. I'll get yelled at for like half an hour. It's just like, if I had $1 for every time someone yelled at me for something that I did that was stupid, I'd be retired. Is what it is. So frracingonline.com at frracingonline. Thank you so much again. 2 years ago when we started this, we had no idea. Honestly, we really had no idea what we were going to do with this. We just kind of said, hey, this is a childhood dream that we're going to make happen in a different way. Well, we really didn't know what we were going to do with it. And I'm very proud of what we've built so far. And we're just getting started.
Yep.
I mean, can you imagine 2 years later, you got 1,000 Instagram followers? Is that like, I can't really fathom that.
No, that's great.
People on TikTok, we're meeting all kinds of great people. I met people in the racing world, had some conversations with them. We've talked iRacing, we've talked Twitch. It's crazy. It's just the opportunities and connections that have come out of this. Friendships, amazing. So thank you again. Really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you for listening. And again, thank you to Taka for filling in last week for me. And 50 down, many, many more to come.
I'm going to have a quick party crasher here. So the future of FR racing right here. He likes driving already.
When you're reaching like that, I'm like, is he gonna be a child or a cat?
So he likes to race.
Boy, it is. It's a little late for him.
Yeah, it's time to eat before full bedtime.
Man, he's getting big.
He has fun.
1 year's coming up very soon.
Yeah, a little over a month now.
Oh my! I remember you texting me like, "Hey, not showing up to the race tonight."
Oh, the memories already.
I was just like, yeah, that was a year ago almost. But I have a kid. Actually, I put some video up of it. One of my kids is like really interested in the simulator. They're like, I want a go-kart. I want a go-kart. Mommy said no. Daddy said yes. Well, Daddy may be sleeping in the go-kart tonight, or if that ever shows up in the house.
The future of FR racing is bright for the next many years to come.
I'm just like, you know what? We may have a karting team. We may have a karting team in the next, year or two.
Could very well happen.
Wasn't originally in the plan, but again, when we started this 2 years ago, we had no idea what that plan was going to be. And we may have a karting team.
Hey, FR racing's got to start somewhere.
We
wanted to field a car in the Indy 500, but
hey, Ricardo Juncos, he came to this country from Argentina with like $400 in his pocket. Somehow started a karting team. He's running 2 cars in the Indy 500. like
Yep.
15 years later. So not exactly the same story, you know, I got a mortgage, but I was, we're obviously both born here, grew up in Indiana, an hour from the track. We're going to have a karting team. See,
Thank you, everybody.
difference is you've got a few years to convince your other half on the karting
Yes.
team. I have like 6 months to get this figured out. So I think what we're going to do first, just to see like interest, if that really happens, is we got an indoor karting facility that has like a junior karting section for kids like ages 5 and up. Put them into junior karts, see how they do. Then if that happens, okay, we'll buy you a used cart. We'll get you into the junior, those LO206 carts, 2-stroke automatic transmission. It's kind of scary thinking about a 6'5", 6'7", 8-year-old driving 30 miles an hour in a cart. That's really terrifying.
Yeah, they do it, and they do a great job with it.
But hey, you know what? If that's what they want to do, I fully support it. I mean, yes, there's a little bit of living vicariously through my child, but hey, you know what? I'm not forcing them to do this. They're the ones who came to me and said, yeah, they're the one who came, she came to me and said, I want to drive your simulator. I want to drive a go-kart. I'm going to have a meltdown because Santa Claus didn't bring me a go-kart for Christmas last year. So anyway, again, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. FR Racing Online.
2 years is gone quick.
Yeah, unreal. FRRacingonline.com, AFSP 200, BCD, WND. Get in. You're going to have a lot of fun. Promise. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you again next week.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Have a great 4th.